hard on this computer. So thank you, you guys, for tuning into today about mindful eating. I am actually going to share my screen, so I'm going through a presentation on mindful eating. Just so you know, my name is Rachel Mikla. I am a dietitian and a personal trainer. And then on this call as well is my business partner, Kim. So Kim, you can introduce yourself too.
Hi, I'm Kim Duffy. I'm also a registered dietitian and a personal trainer.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, you're like, why are these gals talking to us right now? So we started a business called Strength in Nutrition, and we offer nutrition coaching, virtual nutrition coaching, as well as personal training services. And we actually met Emily when we worked at Regions Hospital together. Like, oh my gosh. So I started there literally when I was finishing my internship there. She was just starting as a dietitian. And then I think she left like 5 years ago, and we've just stayed like in great contact. And now she's like one of my good friends. And so she knows that we have this business and that there's interest within this meal planning platform and group that she has of mindful eating and like kind of what that entails. So I know that you guys have chatted about macronutrients before, and she kind of went over calculating macros and all that specifically for you. And today is kind of a little bit different, kind of more mindful eating, intuitive eating. And so we'll chat about it. And please, I mean, Kelsey, it doesn't look like you can unmute yourself or like you're trying to and it's not working. But if like you have questions, put them in the chat. And then Amanda, like you can unmute yourself or put them in the chat or whatever you guys want. And we'll have Kim kind of moderate it a little bit. And then, yeah, this is being recorded. So anybody else that's part of the meal planning platform group that you guys are part of can see it. So I am going to share my screen here. Of course, you guys, like I'm very bad at technology. So let's hope this will get. Okay, mindful eating. You are now screen sharing, it says, and let's go into this PowerPoint. Sweet. Okay, so we kind of already went through who kind of I am as well as Kim. So we're going to skip through this little slide here. And please know throughout, any of this time, I am super chill, low key. Any questions you have, like I get sick of my own voice sometimes. So please ask away or put them in the chat. And Kim, like, can you moderate the chat? Because I can't see it anymore. Okay, thank you.
I have it open.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. So today we're going to go through kind of like what is mindful eating. So a lot of people don't even know what it entails, or like they think they know what it is, but maybe not necessarily exactly know what it is. Why do we eat? Because there's different reasons why we eat. And then tools and techniques you guys can use to mindfully eat. Obviously I know you guys are probably busy during this time, but I'd say like if you can try to put aside these like 30 minutes to try to pay attention and give this time to yourself, that would be awesome. Like I understand though that you have kids or children or trying to do other things as well, but you'll probably just get most out of it if you're able to kind of be fully present. So what do you think? And you can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat, or if you guys are like, I'm too nervous to do that. But I was going to say, what do you think mindful eating is? There's obviously no right or wrong answer here, but audience participation always makes you pay attention a little more. So I'll give you guys like, I don't know, a little bit of time.
So I apologize if you hear some barking in the background, but Amanda says, paying attention to hunger and fullness cues.
Oh, girl, I love it. Yes, that is like spot on. Love it. So mindful eating is that. It also is a lifestyle approach to eating. Okay. So it's what you're doing like day to day, and it's not like a diet. So I love Kim actually just this week like published a blog post called like why a diet has become such a dirty word. And when we think about diets, a lot of people think about those fad diets, which is kind of what I'm referring to right now. But like when I talk about diet kind of throughout this presentation, if I say it, I'm talking about kind of what your overall intake is, and like what your nutrient intake is like. But even though like it's not a diet, it definitely can help with weight management because when you're actually paying attention, like Amanda, like you said, like your hunger and fullness cues, when you're actually paying attention to those hunger and fullness cues, you're going to realize, oh, I'm like actually not hungry. Like, why am I going for this food right now? So then it's going to help you be like, I don't need to go for that. So it's obviously saving you on like excess calories that you'd be eating. Or how many times do we eat until we're like so stuffed, we feel sick? If we're actually paying attention to what we're doing, that's not probably going to be the case. So that's kind of how it can help with weight management, even though it's not like in quotes a diet. Mindful eating obviously is focusing on your eating experience in general and being just paying attention to it, as well as like the thoughts and feelings that you have around food. And trying to have like awareness of what you're doing without judgment. I know that's very difficult. Like a lot of times we're like, oh, I shouldn't have the piece of cake or I shouldn't have the cookie, and we should ourselves a lot. But mindfully eating is being like, okay, like if I have this, it's not going to be the end of the world. And you guys are like actually choosing to have it yourself versus like you feeling like the food's kind of in control of you. And it's definitely listening to like your internal and external cues. So external cues, like, okay, if it's hunger, for example, like your stomach's rumbling, or internal cues like you're having a craving for something and you're not necessarily having any physical ailments for that, but like what's going on internally. So this is like kind of in a nutshell what is mindful eating. But I do want to say like mindful eating isn't necessarily like eating like whatever the heck you want. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I'm mindful eating, I can eat whatever I want. And yeah, like you can, but it's truly paying attention to how those foods are making you feel. And if you're paying attention to kind of how they are making you feel, a lot of times those more nutrient dense foods are going to make you feel better, whereas the less nutrient dense foods are going to make you not feel as well. So I just wanted to bring that up as a point. Okay, so another question for you guys. I know this audience participation. And if you actually read my first slide, I already kind of gave it away. But why do we eat? Like, what are reasons that we eat? And either, yeah, unmute yourself or put it in the chat. And there may be reasons we eat too that I'm not going to go through. And if you guys have something that I didn't think about, but no, nobody has any ideas why we eat?
Maybe specify other than just being hungry. Why are there reasons? Why do other people, why do they eat?
If we're hungry, even if we're hungry, that's a reason we eat. Thank you, Kim.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Kay Ray, I'm not for sure what the first name is. That Kelsey?
Yes.
Yes, she says for energy.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that's true.
Absolutely.
So we eat for a variety of different reasons. And I put this stop sign up here because if you take one thing away from today, I would say this is what I want you to think about. When you're going for food, I seriously want you to think, stop. Why am I going for this food? So the main reasons that we eat is because we're hungry. We have hunger. We have some type of craving, emotion, like how many of us like some of us get stressed and we want to stress eat, but also other people with stress aren't really hungry at all. So that's an example, or when we're happy or we're sad or we're bored, all emotions in that regard. And then also we eat because of habit. So it's a habitual thing. So for example, you drop your kiddos off at school in the morning and like you ended up stopping at Caribou or Starbucks one day, and then you started like thinking, oh, I like this, and you kept getting in the habit of it. So that's another reason that we eat, because it's just habitual. So first of all, I'm going to chat about like hunger specifically. So obviously hunger is our physical need for food or drink. And you guys know through being in Emily's meal planning group that what you are doing for your meals and what she has made for you helps with your hunger because it pairs all three of the macronutrients, which I also know she chatted about, but protein, carb, fat, it pairs all of those as well as like fiber with all of your meals. And that's what we need to actually keep us full or have satiety. So, with that, there's also something that's a hunger fullness scale. So, if you're actually hungry with mindful eating, we want you to kind of focus on this hunger fullness scale. So, think about it as like a scale of 1 to 10. Like 1 is that you are so flippin' starving, you're feeling super empty, and 10 is that you're so full you may feel sick. We obviously don't want to be on the extreme ends. We want to try to stay within the 4 to 7 range because that's where our body is going to feel best. You may not know like what the heck does that mean. So on my screen, you can obviously see like 4 is like hunger has set in and you're ready to eat, but it's not like, oh my gosh, like I'm super hungry right now. I'm feeling like my stomach's rumbling. It's not quite to that point. Whereas a 7 is you're feeling comfortably satisfied. So you're not full, but you're satisfied. And you may be thinking, Rachel, I don't know even what this feels like. And seriously, this is all like practice. Like mindful eating is like a practice that you're probably going to continue for the rest of your life because I still at times, even though I learned about mindful eating like 10 years ago, I'm still like, am I full? Am I not? I don't even know. But at least I'm thinking about it and getting in that groove instead of just being like, screw it, I'm going to keep eating, or like me being like super hungry. Can anybody think what could happen if you're in the 1, 2, or 3? Does anything like how do you feel typically? Or when you eat, what happens? If you want to put it in the chat or if you want to unmute yourself anyway. And if you don't know, that's fine.
Mary said that she eats too fast.
So true. Okay, so Mary, you eat too fast. And actually, so when you eat too fast, do you notice then that it's very common for you to go from like a 1, 2, or 3 to going to like an 8, 9, or 10? And skip in that middle portion.
She says, absolutely.
Yes. So that is one reason that we don't want to kind of go into that like 1, 2, 3 range, because a lot of times when we get so hungry, we end up feeling kind of ugh when we do eat. And then that's going to lead you to having less energy, and it's going to lead you to not like feeling as great about yourself. So this is how like mindful eating can be helpful, specifically when you are hungry. And it takes, like 20 minutes for your brain to actually realize like, hey, I'm full. And it is so common to eat fast when we are hungry. So we just want to try to not to hit that super starving stage. If you guys have any questions about that, please let me know. And we do like this presentation. So if we have a mindful eating workbook that we put together, and like Kim can put the link in the chat that you guys can like get it from. If you put like your email in, it'll be sent to you. And it kind of, the hunger fullness scale is on there, and then some other things we're going to be chatting about if you guys want it. So another reason we eat is because of cravings. So let's say you're going to go grab some food. The first thing we're going to do is stop, right? And you're going to think, why am I going for this food? Oh, no, it's not because I'm hungry. It's because, I'm like craving that chocolate chip cookie. I just like know it's there. I want it. So how do we manage those cravings? I know probably many people have cravings, and there's multiple ways that you can manage your cravings. Like Emily is helpful in that she has paired these macronutrients together well in your meal plans, and that's going to be helpful with your cravings. Obviously making sure you're having like a hearty breakfast, which you know about, as she like helps with in her meal planning. But for mindful eating purposes, what we want you to try to do is like take a step back and think, rating your craving intensity on a scale of 1 to 7. So 1 to 3, you're like, it's mildly irritating. 4 to 5, it's moderately irritating. And like 6 to 7, like severely irritating. Like I can't get this out of my mind. So depending upon where you're at on this scale, is we're going to be using a different technique. So if this craving's mildly irritating, a thing that you could do is use distraction. Okay. So think about like, what are some distraction techniques you could use? If anybody wants to say things, they can. Otherwise, like, obviously, there's many ways that we can distract ourselves. So going on a walk, doing some laundry, everyone loves that, right? It can be distracting though. Or playing with your dog, like reading a book, journaling, something like that. So all of these are distraction techniques that if you're having this craving and it's just mildly irritating, just taking your brain away from it for a second could be enough for you to be like, oh, yep, it's gone. Now, let's say that it's moderately irritating. What we want to do is either you can trial distraction, that may not work though, or we can do something called urge surfing. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of urge surfing before. It's actually been used with like drug abuse and knowing that like your urge for something or your want for something is going to get worse, but knowing that there's always a peak and then it's going to get better. And this is extremely helpful in mindful eating because when you have a craving, if you can see this little curvature here that I ended up like making, over time, you know that there's a trigger and this craving is going to get worse, but knowing it's going to rise and it's going to peak somewhere, but after that peak, it is going to fall off. Like it's not linear. You're not going to keep going up, 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 up. And so if you can sit there and knowing like this is going to get better, this is going to get better, this is going to get better, then that is like how you're going to keep making it through this urge surfing and getting better and better at doing this. And knowing that over time, this curve actually is going to get less and less intense the more that you practice this. So I like to put this photo up because it looks like an ocean wave. We know like an ocean wave starts from nothing, gets huge, crashes, and goes to nothing. And your craving is going to do that at some point in time. And even if because think about it now, like let's say you're craving a bowl of ice cream and maybe right now you're like, I want a bowl of ice cream, and you go right away and get it. Even if you can like sit for 1 minute without getting that bowl of ice cream, and then you're like, okay, no, I need it. I need to go get it. That's still going to be some progress. So sit for 1 minute. Try that for a few weeks. Sit for 2 minutes the next time, like in the next couple of weeks. See if you can do that. And you're practicing that urge surfing there, and that's going to help manage your cravings down the line. So like I said before, like as you practice this technique, it will get easier. Obviously, it's something that's going to be lifelong for you. Like I said before, like I learned this like 10 years ago, and I still like sometimes I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, come on, Rachel. Okay, it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. And sometimes I'm like, okay, it does pass. And it's hard. It's hard work. And then other times I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just gonna have this right now. And I'm mindfully choosing to go for it. But let's say your craving is severely irritating and like you literally can't get it out of your mind, or you're starting to urge surf and it gets worse and worse and worse. Then I say, allow yourself to have that item. Anybody know why I would say have it? You put it in the chat or unmute yourself. As it takes. Kim, why would I say have it? I'm gonna put you on the spot then.
Just because you're going to be focused on it, and it's okay, and you don't need to beat yourself up about, creating that good relationship with food is we're avoiding labeling foods as good or bad, but just allowing yourself to have it, but maybe trying to have it in a portion control manner, maybe not eating a whole bag of chips if you really want to have that chips, maybe just enjoying it, and then you're able to like move past it and get on with your day.
Exactly. So yes, that's like what I was thinking, is that And like to what you said at the beginning is like totally correct too. And but the reason I said like allow yourself to have that item and like why is because how many times have you like said, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this? And you try to like just hold it out and you just keep ruminating on it. And then instead of going for one Oreo, you go for like 10 Oreos. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna be naive and think I'm the only one that has ever done this. But that's why, like, if you actually though, like allow yourself to have this item, then you're going to have probably better portion control than instead of continuing to ruminate on it. And then when you do allow yourself to have that item, you'll see I put the hunger fullness scale here. We want you to try to focus on that. We obviously want you to pay attention to not going until you're feeling like overly stuffed. So feeling until you're comfortably satisfied. Okay. If you have any questions about cravings, let me know. And keep, otherwise I'm going to keep trucking along and say another reason that we eat is because of emotions. So again, you're going to go to the pantry, you're going to go to the fridge and get some food. First thing you're going to do is stop and think, why am I going for food? Literally, I'm going to like say this continually because I want you guys to get this in your brain. And it's very difficult when you're like, you're probably in the pantry half the time eating some Sour Patch Kids, and then they're like halfway gone. And you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this. But you are going for food and you stop and you think, okay, I'm not going because I'm hungry. I'm not craving anything. Oh gosh, like I'm feeling like just really frustrated right now and I want something to make me feel better. So obviously that's in regard to emotions. So we're eating because of that. So again, stop. Why are you going for the food? And then ask yourself seriously, like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling frustrated? And truly thinking, is food going to make this better? Sometimes if it brings you so much joy and you're choosing, hey, like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go for this instant gratification. That's okay. But also knowing that that's just going to be instant gratification in that amount of time. It's not going to help you truly get through what's going on. So, is there a way to kind of manage this feeling or emotion without food? And so, one way to do that would be distraction, obviously. And then another way, if that doesn't work, is to try to practice this urge surfing, because knowing that that emotion that you're feeling is going to pass at some point in time. We don't always feel a certain feeling all the time, 24/7. So knowing, hey, can I try to manage this without food? And then the last reason, or like the last reason that I put in here is that we eat is that habit. So stop. Why am I going? Why am I going to go grab something? Okay, I'm sure there's people on here that I put the coffee on here because you probably don't even realize that you're making coffee in the morning. You just like go down to the coffee pot, press on, and before you know it, you're like drinking it without even checking in. Do I actually need this? Did I get enough sleep? I don't know. It just becomes a habit for us. Um, so if you notice that something is habitual for you, another habit would be like, can anybody else think of another habit that they have for eating? I guess, like, let me ask that. Kim, what's obviously for a couple of you that came later, Kim is my business partner. So you're going to hear from her in like a couple seconds. That's why I keep putting her on the spot. But okay, like what's a habit that you think about?
Oh, I think sitting down to watch a show, for some reason, you just want that kind of hand to mouth thing. And sometimes, and I always talk to my clients about it too, is just sometimes it's like, am I hungry, or is it just that I need to be doing this while I'm watching a show? You know, is there something else I can do that with? Maybe a cup of tea, or you know, some carrots rather than Oreos. I don't know. But yeah, no, just sitting there and watching TV. I think it's, you're looking for kind of that mindless snacking sometimes.
And knowing too what habits like have been around. So that habit for you has been around for how many years, like it's gonna take time to break, and knowing that is okay. And maybe you're not gonna fully break it, but if you aren't doing it every time, that is progress, right? Like one small change at a time. Another habit is like, I hear this a lot, is like people are like dinner time with family. They sit down to eat dinner and they're like, I'm not even hungry, but I feel like I need to eat, because that is a habit that we do. So with that, I tell people, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, like, were you snacking beforehand? How are your meals prepared? Like, are they macronutrient rich so that you're not feeling like you're starving before dinner, need to eat a bunch of snacks, then you eat those snacks and aren't hungry for dinner? But also knowing like it's okay if you're truly not hungry and you're sitting down with family, you don't have to take as big of a portion. Or maybe it's important for you to have that time. And if you already had something else going on and you ate before, just knowing that sitting down there and being with your family is okay, and that you don't necessarily always need to eat at the same time. So like those are types of habits that I've like heard from other people, and they're like, I don't know how to manage this.
And Mary posted in the chat that she likes mini chocolate candies. Mary, is that like any time of the day, or is that certain times? Like I hear common that it's like after dinner, you have dinner and then immediately you're looking, I need that little bit of sweet. And I need a little something. Definitely a habit.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, that's normally
She
like
likes a mid-morning.
mid-morning. And so if you always have it mid-morning, it probably is like a habit, and you've just gotten into the routine of doing that. And it is hard to break habits. It is like very hard to break them. And seriously, if you're trying to break a habit, I bet Emily has talked to you guys about some of this before, but instead of being like, okay, every day I'm not going to have my mini piece of chocolate mid-morning, seriously, like try one day not having it. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't like do this, try not having it at that time that you normally do. Like maybe like have it at a different time instead. Have it in the afternoon if you really need to. And like starting there, it's always like you can always take some type of baby step and then slowly moving away from, hey, every day I'm having this. So I'm going to now maybe have it like one less day a week. And then it could go to 2 less days a week once you have that under your belt. And you guys, like, eating like to everybody is obviously a different experience. And I always say, like, we are our own science experiment. Like, what works for somebody is not going to work for us, maybe. And we're constantly trying to evolve and figure things out. And so knowing that there's not like an end goal, like, oh my gosh, I need to have this figured out by then. Like, who says that? Nobody. And so just knowing like it's just a journey, and you might as well try to start now with some of these mindful eating techniques. And if it takes you a year to figure out like even one thing, hey, that's better than it taking maybe 10 years, and you're starting it at least. So
I also want,
yeah.
sorry, Rach. And I imagine Emily probably mentioned it to you guys. Have y'all ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear? It's an amazing read, and just talks about how we develop habits and how we can kind of break the cycle with some habits. So it's super a really good book. Has anybody read that?
I think I have your copy, Kim.
I've read it a couple times. No, it's a super good book. I can put it in the chat if anybody's interested in looking into it.
So speaking of habits though, so yeah, how to manage your eating habits. So you stop, you realize, why am I going for food? And you realize it's a habit. Like first ask yourself, like, why does this habit exist? So at least just getting in your brain and starting to have that conversation. And then also, is there a way to manage this habit without food? Could you trial distraction? Again, could you trial urge surfing? Because that's also going to work. Because over time, like it's kind of habit, but then you also like, even though it's habit, you're kind of like craving it from that habit. And so focusing on this urge surfing, it's going, that's finally going to dissipate and get better. So those are all like 4 reasons, kind of reasons why we eat, tools and techniques you can utilize in order to, if you're having cravings, if you're having like different emotions around eating or food, like how you can kind of obviously mindfully eat and tools and techniques. But I specifically want to talk like guiding your food preferences. Truly, like mindful eating too is like thinking about how do certain foods make you feel. So if you guys want to put in the chat or unmute yourself, like how does food make you feel? And obviously there's no wrong answer here. I'll tell you like, so food like makes me feel happy, it makes me feel joyful.
Mary said she thinks she needs chocolate for energy.
Energy. Okay, so energy, like you get energized, foods make you feel energized. That's also something.
Oh, for sure.
So foods can make you feel obviously like multiple different ways. Like you could feel satisfied after eating a food. You could feel full after eating something, happy. You could feel hungry, bloated, gassy, guilty. You could have like headaches. Like all of these are ways that foods can make you feel. And so when you're thinking about what you're actually putting in your body and how that food is making you feel, it's going to naturally guide your food preferences as time goes on. So guiding your food preferences specifically, like basically while you're eating, I would ask you like to ask yourself, how is my body feeling eating this? Okay. And then thinking about like, how is my body feeling like right when I'm done eating this? How do I feel 30 minutes later? And how do I feel like 1 to 2 hours later? So what you find truly may surprise you. Like you may think like you're at a birthday party and there's cake and you want that cake. It looks so good. But if you're like eating it and you're actually like paying attention to what it like how it's making you feel or and like the mouth feel, how it's making your like body feel, you may realize, hey, like I actually don't like this as much as I thought I did. Or this is actually a little too sugary for me. Then who's to say that you can't like maybe just even having that thought actually is huge. And if you're going to continue to eat it, that's fine. Like we need to start somewhere. But also knowing then like I actually don't like this as much as I thought I did. And then that will help you stop eat it as you keep practicing this. Or like a good example is getting like French fries, I say, like either at a restaurant. Like a lot of times I like love French fries, but then I realize like oh my gosh, like these actually aren't as good as I thought they would be, but I normally just keep eating them and eating them and eating them. But when you truly pay attention to it, you may think, oh, like I don't actually like these as much as I thought I did. I'm going to stop eating them. I am going to give you then like one more example so you guys kind of have an idea. And this is like, of course, it's like my example because I don't like want to share other people's stories and examples for this, but I used to be like a Diet Coke fiend. And when I worked at the hospital, like every single afternoon, I would go get a Diet Coke. And then it took me like probably a good year to figure this out that I was like, gosh, I keep getting headaches. Like, why do I keep getting headaches? And I just thought it was from a stressful job. But truly, I was like thinking, hey, maybe this is from my Diet Coke. And so I started fiddling around with it. And some days I'd have the Diet Coke and some days I wouldn't. And like lo and behold, literally like 30 minutes after I had the Diet Coke, like the headache would start. Like this is strange. And so now, like this is how natural your natural preferences are guided. Like I still flip and love the taste of Diet Coke, but I don't really drink it all that much because I don't like how it makes me feel. And that may be the same with other foods within your diet. You may think that you love it, but then when you really pay attention to how it makes you feel, you may decide not to have it as much. Now, is that to tell you like I never have a Diet Coke? No, like I definitely do, but I'm mindfully choosing to have it. And I know that I'm probably going to have some of those signs and symptoms. But again, like I'm choosing for that to be the case and I'm more aware of it. So with all this, like I'm gonna give just a quick little recap because I know I've been talking for like 40 minutes. Emily said like 45 to an hour or something like that. So we went through what is mindful eating and why do we eat, and then different tools and techniques to mindfully eat. So again, Kim probably put in if you guys want like our little workbook guide with the hunger fullness scale and like about the urge surfing and everything, feel free to put your email in to get that guide sent your way. Otherwise, you can always like go to our website too and get it that way. And our main points, like seriously, if you take one thing away, like when you figure out you're going for food, like stop. Just think of that stop sign and think, why am I eating? Like, why am I going for this? Like, at least having that initiative, because you may realize that you're going for something and it's just habit and you don't even like really want something. And then also implementing one small change at a time to make this more sustainable. I talked about so much today, and if you try to do all of this tomorrow, you may feel motivated for like a week or two, or maybe if you're like superhuman, a month. But knowing that that's not going to be sustainable, and so choosing one thing that I talked about, maybe it's literally stopping, like, why am I going for food? That could be your one thing. Or maybe it's paying attention to the hunger fullness scale. That could be your thing. Or doing urge surfing, any of those. And then truly, like with mindful eating, knowing that you are the one that has control over the food you're consuming and the food doesn't have control over you. So many people say, like, I feel like I'm out of control around food. I feel like it controls me. But when you're thinking about this, you're choosing to do these certain things, right? And so just knowing that that full control is in your wheelhouse. So from that, I am going to let like Kim take it away here, just because in case you guys are like, oh, I want to know what else Rachel and Kim do for strength and nutrition. Yeah, I'm going to let her take it away, and just so you guys kind of know what services we do offer.
Yeah, so since we are registered dietitians, we do one-on-one nutrition coaching. So we actually meet virtually with majority of our clients, where we can look specifically at each person's individual needs. We usually start with a full 60-minute nutrition assessment, and we work we like to do functional nutrition, kind of like Emily. Emily was in, I think, more previously, but just looking at the whole body, looking at the root causes, looking at everything that goes into kind of your health and your lifestyle, as compared to just looking at what you're consuming or what you're eating. That includes movement of your body, activity, not specifically, hard exercise, but also exercise as part of that. Sleep, stress, kind of, we take into account your medical history, and also kind of how's your gut functioning. So important. We do, since we are personal trainers, we do one-on-one, partner, and group personal training. Rachel's on one side of the cities and I'm on the other side. So Rachel's training out of a gym in St. Louis Park, and then I train out of a gym in Shoreview. But we also do some virtual training as well. And then we also, as of today, we actually just have enrolled in had our open cart for our Energy for Life program. And I don't know if any of you guys have heard about that, but basically it's an 8-week program that we walk people through kind of step by step, just how to get moving, how to start making changes to eating better without spending, hours at the gym or a lot of money at the gym as well. And kind of, how to incorporate it into your lifestyle versus, going on a diet or depriving yourself or restricting yourself. You want to advance that, Miss Rachel?
I'm so sorry.
I don't have control. No, that's okay.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, so just touching on a little bit more about the Energy for Life program. So what it is, so we launched it initially earlier this year, and it was a 12-week program. We decided that to kind of make it a little bit shorter for 8 weeks, just because it's kind of hard to look forward that far. It's like, let's take it in a little bit more bite-sized chunks. So it's an 8-week program, and we actually have virtual workouts, 3 workouts a week, includes upper body, lower body, and full body workouts. And all they use, the only equipment we're using are body weights, booty bands, which are those fabric bands that are just loop bands, and then handled long bands. Super easy, so you don't need, loads of dumbbells or kettlebells or all that good stuff. And like I said, we split it up into 3 different body areas and then full body each week. And basically each workout's only 30 minutes a piece. So we created this program for the busy adult, for the people who are like, I don't have the time or I don't have the money for exercise or making healthy changes. And so we wanted to really make it so that it's kind of quick, easy to digest, easy to do within a busy day or a busy week. And then we also basically the exercise is given through our Trainerize program, which is just an online program that that provides you with form videos and everything. So it's like you have your workout and you're like, how do I do this? You just click on a button and it shows you and it's actually Rachel or I showing you each exercise. So it's kind of cool. You get to see our little smiling faces. So yeah, sorry. And then you had advanced forward. So then the nutrition piece of this. So another change that we did for the Energy for Life program is we gave people the option to choose exercise, nutrition, or actually a combination of both. Because some people are like, hey, I got the nutrition piece under control, no problem. I just need to get moving more, or vice versa. So the nutrition piece, we basically created 8 wellness accountability modules. And so we start off with just goal setting, and that's like looking at each person individually. What is it that you want to change, or what are your goals? And, putting them kind of into a nice attainable goal that you can actually, it's not about changing everything and upheaval of your whole lifestyle, but more just about taking kind of some bite-sized changes, working on those, giving you action steps to move forward. We listed all the kind of the different modules. So each week there is a new module. So we start with goal setting. We dive into hydration. We talk about kind of what's in the food we're eating. So quality nutrition, calculating macros. We talk about curbing your cravings, which has a lot to do with blood sugar control. Meal planning made easy, although you guys have that under control with Miss Emily. Energy promoting vitamins, minerals, and then also like just fueling your body around movement and exercise, because it is so important. And like I said, quick and easy. We make it so that basically you can read these modules. It's only 30 minutes per week. And then hopefully, you're creating action steps and working on them each day. So, and they're all delivered 100% online. You can do them whenever you want and when works for you. So this program, basically, we kind of broke it down into the value of each of these exercises or into each of these components. You do have access to Rachel or I, anytime you can send us a message. So, you have our experience whatever you need, our experience as personal trainers as well as dietitians, so that we can really kind of give you that support, accountability. There's also a group chat feature within our program called Practice Better that you can jump into. You can ask other people question in the group, or else you can ask Rachel and I and we can help to kind of personalize this program for you. So this program, basically you can do the combo program for $299, or you can do the nutrition piece for $199 and the exercise piece for $199. So obviously the combination package is going to be a little bit better deal, but yeah, it's an awesome program. We're really excited about it, but it's all centered around energy. So it's a way, if you're like, hey, I struggle with energy levels, or it goes up and down. We're talking about kind of all the different factors that can come into energy levels through the day, whether it's nutrition, whether it's blood sugar control, whether it's just moving more in activity and building up that metabolism. So those are all the things that we talk about. So yeah, I'll drop the link, or actually the link is dropped right there. So it's where you can go and just check it out. If you guys have any questions, we walk through kind of exactly what the program is and how it all breaks down. And we do have a special bonus that if you sign up before midnight tomorrow night, Rachel, We do have some awesome bonuses. So if you sign up for the nutrition program, we actually have some extra modules on like stress and sleep. If you sign up for the exercise program, we actually have 4 extra weeks of workouts. And if you sign up for combination, you get both. So pretty cool bonus. So yeah, love, if you guys have any questions, feel free to direct message us. You can message us through our website, or you can reach out on, you can email us or on Instagram or Facebook. We'd love to have you guys follow us. So any questions?
Yeah, so I put, if you see here, I put we have our website listed, as well as, yeah, feel free to send us a email. And even now, if like you have your phone on you, like take it out, give us a follow on Instagram or message us or do whatever you want. And yeah, I think.
Wonderful.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to stop my screen sharing. And I appreciate you guys like being on here. And for those of you that are watching the recording, thank you. Again, like you guys can reach out to us. If you have questions after this, like, yeah, you can email the info@strengthandnutrition.com, or even if you guys want to like email Kim or I specifically, like that one we both are like in charge of. Otherwise, it's easy. You can just either do Rachel@strengthandnutrition.com or Kim@strengthandnutrition.com. So simple.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you do have any questions, we'll like stay on for like another minute or so. But otherwise, we appreciate your time. And Kelsey,
have a great night.
Oh my
Thanks for your time.
like, great. Oh, sorry,
Thank
Jack.
you so much.
I ended up interrupting him. Kelsey, it was great to like see you. I'm putting that in quotes. I can't see you, but how funny. What a small flipping world. Love it.
How do you guys know each other?
So she actually used to date Matt's brother.
Yes.
Yes.
That is a small world.
I know. And I still remember I have like the same scarf from New Zealand, but I remember I gave her when I went to New Zealand. I don't know if you still have that scarf, Kelsey. But I gave
Kelsey said, I saw your name come across and had to join.
Yes. Oh, well, thanks for joining. Oh, man, fun. And her dog is like the cutest dog ever. She has a golden retriever as well.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
I still do have the scarf. Oh,
cute.
I'm obsessed with it. I haven't worn it in like years. I don't think I can like get rid of it though. But okay. Well, thanks for joining, and hope everyone has a good day.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.